Welcome to Career Insights. The Career Insight series features local industry professionals engaged in conversation with students and recent graduates about career planning and job opportunities in Polk County, Florida.
Good morning, everyone. We're so happy to have you with us today. I'm Sharon Kokanowski. I'm the Director of Education here at Polk State College. So if you ever need to reach out to me, please do. One thing we want to share with you is how you can get involved with education from birth to grade 6. So there's so much going on in education right now, and we need strong, positive, one-of-a-kind educators out in the field. So we're excited to be able to share information with you today.
So I'm Jessica Solano. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Engagement with Polk County Public Schools. So I am going to kind of walk you through this presentation, giving you kind of some insight into the different ways that you can become a teacher. Like what was just being said, there's not one clear path. And so we're going to go through that, as well as kind of give you some benefits and some perspectives to know when you're working with Polk County Public Schools, what you could get into. Our introductions here, Jessica is me, Caroline is our recruiter. Caroline just this week has come back from maternity leave. She had her baby, she's been home, and so she's starting to get back into the swing of things. She is a ball of energy, the perfect person to be your first face in Polk County Public Schools. So if you happen to interact with her or myself, know that we're on the same team. She's our teacher recruitment coordinator, and we are planning on getting another teacher recruitment coordinator on our team relatively soon. But just to give you a little background on me and my experience with Polk County, I've been with the district since about 2009. I've been teaching in the elementary classroom for about 10 years. In 2017, had the honor of being selected as the Florida Teacher of the Year. And then in that role, I was able to, the DOE puts you on a sabbatical for a year, and you travel all around the state, all around the country, getting to work with different teachers and school districts and the Department of Education, and then getting to come back to Polk County. I had awesome support. That's one thing I think I love about the district, is that there are opportunities out there to impact beyond your classroom. And there's a lot of support from our superintendent and from leadership to try and take, hey, what's going on out in the rest of the world that we can bring back here? So I created a peer mentor program that then fed into a teacher leadership program that the district then said, hey, you know what, this could be a tool for us to increase teacher retention. And so from there, the teacher engagement office was born and paired with the recruitment office, and that's all she wrote. So when we talk about people about why Polk County Public Schools, there's a bunch of different reasons, but I would say these are definitely the top 4. One would be the benefits. My husband has a traditional job. He actually works more as like a project manager with construction. He gets 2 weeks off a year. And he always gets on me like, how do you have vacation? How do you still have more? So there's benefits as far as that goes, but even like healthcare, free healthcare, he has to pay for his health insurance. Not just having the free healthcare, but then also having free employee health clinics. I have 2 kids. If I can just get them to not get sick on the weekends, we would save a lot of money. Because even though we have free healthcare, I also still have a $50 copay every time we go to the doctor. And so if we have to go to urgent care because they've got a big cut or they're not feeling well, I got to pay that $50. But if they get sick during the week, which I think most kids hopefully do get sick during the week, or if I need to go get blood work done, if I need a physical, if I need x-rays, whatever it is, I can go to this free employee health clinic and I can get seen for free, 100% for free. I can get prescriptions, I can get everything done there, and it's totally free. So that's definitely a cost savings as well. And then salaries. We actually, since our new superintendent has been here, and I think he's not even at a full year yet. I think July 1st might be an actual first year. But in this year, he's actually provided raises not once, but twice. And so we are now at $45,487 for the starting teacher salary. I know Jennifer mentioned that. I'm like, trust me, I'm pushing all the time. We have got to update the website. That's peak recruiting season. So it does. If you look at our website, it is old. It used to be 41,000, so it is now up to 45,487. But as we're recruiting, I'm really like, it's actually 46,487 because all of our teachers are getting a $1,000 stipend for the next 3 years, and then the superintendent has committed to adding it to general funds. So everyone just really got a $1,000 bump on their salary. So then you're at 46,487. If you have a master's degree or any type of higher degree, that's an additional $3,100 plus on top of your salary. For the master's, about $3,100, all the way to a doctorate, you're looking at about $6,000, $7,000 on top of your salary. And then there's additional stipends if you work at a Title I school, which the majority of our schools are Title I schools. You get an additional $500 supplement. If you are rated highly effective, you get an additional $500 supplement. If you teach a critical shortage area as deemed by the Florida Department of Education, you get an additional $500 supplement. So we have some students that are coming out, especially if they are trying to quickly get their master's, that are making $50,000 plus in their first few years of teaching. So definitely the pay is there and you're able to get those opportunities. As far as those critical shortage areas, just so you know, these are deemed by the DOE. Our recruitment office might add a couple more areas. But it would be special education for sure is our top need. ESOL, pre-K, math, and science. Those are those 5 key areas that will give you an additional $500 supplement if you're teaching in those areas. And then I love this last part, and Sharon kind of mentioned this as well, the support for the whole teacher. We do have mentor programs. We have coaches, instructional coaches at every school. We have campus induction coordinators at every school. We have district-wide professional learning. We have school-based professional learning. We really have a bunch of opportunities for teachers to get support. Right now, what we're trying to get to, though, post-pandemic, is trying to figure out what does support even look like. It's different for everybody. And right now, things are really challenging, and we're trying to wrap our minds around this new normal. So things have to change because the support that we had before isn't always the support we still need. But one thing that we have started that has had a tremendous impact is that about 40 of our schools have a teacher engagement ambassador at the school. And basically that's a classroom teacher who teaches their classroom all day. And then at the end of the day or in planning periods or before school is intentionally trying to meet with the new teachers on their campus and build these authentic relationships with them. So they're doing more than just walking in and saying, how you doing? Let me know if you need anything, right? We're having intentional conversations with them to help them avoid feelings of overwhelm and burnout. We want to boost their feelings of resilience and support. And so we talk about things like prioritizing. How do you tie your core values to the work that you do? So when you get to those points, because we all have points in our job where we don't like the job, how do you tie your core values to it to kind of bring you back to your why? And so we've had a lot of really neat experiences with that program to be able to see if had this not been for this teacher engagement ambassador, this new teacher wouldn't have stayed. They wouldn't have even made it through the school year. One story I love to share is we had an ambassador who was at the middle school level, and we had a new teacher on that campus, and she was a career changer, so she didn't go to school for education. Everything was pretty new. And in her first year teaching, she had a couple kids in her class get into a fight, and she kind of got in the middle of it. And if any of you have witnessed a fight at school, it can get pretty ugly. And for someone who was not expecting it and was walking in new, it could also be pretty traumatic. And so the administration came, they got the kids, they took care of it like they do, and she was free to move on with her day. But she was definitely emotionally charged by that event. It was something she had not experienced before. She went home that weekend and just was in a state of shock the whole weekend and really thought, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to stay in teaching. And so thankfully that Monday she did come back to school. She stopped by our ambassador's classroom to get some snacks because she had like a pantry in her class to attract people to come by. And as she's talking to that teacher, she's kind of probing like, hey, I heard there was a fight in your classroom the other day. How you doing? And the teacher just started like pouring out emotionally about how traumatizing that was and how shocking it was because she was like caught in the middle of it and all the different emotions that came out. But the one that came out that was the most alarming was nobody came to check on me. The administration came and they took care of the kids like we normally do, but it wasn't a thought, not intentional, but there wasn't a thought to say, hey, Jessica, how you doing? I know you've never experienced anything like that before. How are you? And that one little, just a stopping by for 5 minutes would have made the world of difference for her. And thank goodness she was able to have an ambassador there to talk through it. So that way that ambassador could be the liaison between the administration and the new teacher, but also help give her the words to be able to advocate for herself and to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Help me, what resources can I get? Or how can I prepare myself so this doesn't happen in my class again? or so I don't feel like this again in case something like this happens. So little things like that are those tiny moments that as educators, we all want to be there for each other and have that, but sometimes we just get so overwhelmed by all the things we have to do. If it's not someone's actual job to do it, sometimes it gets pushed to the side. So we're excited to have that program continue to grow and have more supports for teachers so that we're supporting the whole teacher. It's not just about the teaching, we're also people. There's lots of different pathways to teaching. It was brought up already about our greenhouse program. That is an opportunity, especially for you all that are in high school thinking, okay, I'm going to go into college, but hey, I'd really love to get my college paid for. I mean, who doesn't want college for free? You can do that. We have quite a few high schoolers that graduate from high school, and then they go into being a paraprofessional or any other non-instructional role that you don't need a college degree to do. So they would come in, a lot of times it's a paraprofessional role, so like a teacher aide, and they do that during the day, and then at night or online, they take courses to build towards their education degree. Those courses, especially like even at Polk State, if you're taking them at Polk State, are completely covered by the greenhouse program. There are a couple of requirements, like you have to be in the education program. And even if you're starting from scratch, right, at zero, that first 2 years where you're really working on your AA, that also is covered. But then you have that commitment of saying, at the end of those 2 years, I'm going to enter into their education program. So you have to do that. We can't pay for a degree in marketing. It has to be in education. And then you have to keep a C average. You have to get C's in those courses or higher in order for us to reimburse them. We do ask that you apply for federal financial aid. So there's no double dipping. So if you get scholarships, if you get other things that can help cover the cost of tuition, we basically pick up the tab for the rest. And it's not just that, it's your 50% of textbooks, it's your technology fee. The subject area exam is $150. We help you pay for that, reimburse that cost, and the $75 fee to apply to the DOE. So there's a lot in that program that you can have access to with free incentives because you're a non-instructional employee with us. The other route is more of the traditional route. You can go through the education program. In this case, the only difference between this and the greenhouse program is you're paying for the schoolwork yourself because you're not one of our employees yet. So you go through the program, you go through all your courses. It's a state approved program. So that way you're actually, when you graduate, you're doing your internship, you passed all your FTCE exams, and you've taken all the courses. So that way, when you go to the DOE, they see you've met all the requirements and they give you a professional certificate. And so that's your key to easily getting into the classroom. Another option, some colleges offer an educational studies program. The difference between a traditional education program and educational studies is educational studies, you don't do the internship, you don't have to complete the FTC exams. You definitely still have to complete the coursework. So there's still coursework attached. The only difference is when you're applying to the DOE, you may or may not get a certificate based on the coursework. I was just talking to someone recently who did an educational studies program and applied for elementary, and the DOE said no, not based on your transcripts. She didn't take enough elementary education classes to show that she could teach it. So she still had to take the subject area exam. Now her husband had taken a different mixture of courses in that same major and applied for math, and he was deemed eligible for a temporary certificate. So it's kind of a toss-up. We're not really sure if you would get it or not. You really have to look at your transcripts. But either way, you'd have to take the subject area exam, and that would get you a temporary certificate, which lets you get in the classroom, but then you have up to 3 years to meet those additional requirements. Since you did do an internship, you have to do a mentor program or take additional courses. You do eventually have to take all those tests. So it's kind of like you can do them during your traditional program in your education, your college, or you can do them while you're teaching. And so then that kind of leads into that last area, the career changer. If you decide to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go to school for business. I'm not going to be a teacher. I'm going to go through this way. And sometimes that happens. We go through business and then you're there and you maybe we get into the business world and you say, nope, I got to return to my heart. Teaching is where it's at. And so you want to come back. There's still an opportunity. If you have a bachelor's degree, you can get into the classroom. And so in that case, you can either say, hey, my background is in business. I want to teach business education. They could look at your transcripts and say, yeah, Jessica has enough courses to say she could teach business. But if I have a business background and I say, I want to teach chemistry, that's what I want to teach. I love chemistry. It's been a secret passion of mine. There probably is not going to be enough coursework on my transcripts to show the DOE that I am competent enough to teach chemistry. So I'd have to take a subject area exam to prove that I could teach it. but then I'm in the same boat as that educational studies program. I still have to meet all those other requirements. I still have to do like an internship. I have to be mentored. I have to take coursework out of college through an EPI program or actual courses. I have to pass all the exams. So across all four, you're still doing the same work. It's just really more of the timing of when you're going to do it. The last two, you're doing it while you're teaching. The first two, you do it while you're in school. But regardless of how you become a teacher, I think what's more important is why you become a teacher. There is, I'm not gonna lie, there's a handful of people that are like, I'm here for the summers, right? I'm here for the schedule. I'm here for the fact that I just was going through some of our comments and looking for quotes. And one of our teachers was like, I mean, the pay compared to the amount of days, where else can you earn $50,000 and work 190 days in the year? So some people, they're here for that. I would say the majority of our teachers, though, are here for the impact it's making, because teaching is hard and sometimes the schedule isn't enough and the benefits aren't enough. You need to really want to be here because you want to make an impact. And I think that was said earlier, like you have to be able to tie in the reason why you're doing it. Otherwise, you're going to get to those points where you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. This isn't worth it. And so here's some quotes from our teachers. I love these first two quotes in the little blue sticky notes. It's the best job in the world. Natalie says that at Winter Haven High School. And then we have a teacher, Robin from Davenport Elementary, saying she loves seeing how much students can change in 10 months. That is so true. I was a third grade math teacher. Students would walk in the door saying, I'm not a math person. Just want to let you know, my mom's not a math person. I'm not a math person. And I have to remind them that is not hereditary to not be a math person. They just had a bad math experience. And it's amazing to get to see these little 8 and 9-year-olds change that thinking so that by the end of the year, they're like, I love math. I'm a math person. I can do math. I can do hard things. So really, when we polled our teachers, we do stay interviews or stay chats with our teachers, especially the ones that have been with us for like 7+ years. Why are you still here? Why are you still in teaching? And these were some of the top reasons why. Mostly they want to make an influence. They see the power that's in this role. My husband always talks to me about like, man, you love your job. You love teaching and you are really making an impact. And it's been interesting to kind of interact with people in different professions who are like, I'm just a job. It's just a job. I'm just going to work and I'm coming back, where they can see the difference and you're making a lasting impact on lives. Some people are in it because they love the content they teach. A lot of times it's amazing to hear the stories of people that were inspiring them. They had a great teacher and so they want to be a teacher like that. But then on the flip side, there's quite a few people that had an awful experience in school, were stereotyped and restricted and just had awful things happen. And they said, no, I got to be a teacher so that doesn't happen to other kids. And then finally, another big top reason was they have their interactions with their own kids and say, I love this. I love being able to work with my own kids. I'd love to work with other people's kids. Right now, more than ever, I think it's good to always try and help hone in on that why of why you want to become a teacher by staying inspired, staying around people that are positive. And so if you're really like, this is it, I'm going to be a teacher. I know it. I've got a little taste of it and I'm excited to move forward. I would recommend signing up for our podcast. We have teachers from around our district who are being interviewed on this podcast, and we call it the Ignite Project because we want to ignite those passions in other educators, especially the ones in our district, but also nationally. We're even are getting picked up in other countries. So getting an opportunity to hear from each of those teachers, you'll get to see what they're passionate about and what they're doing to make an impact in their classrooms. And it is so inspiring. We now are finishing up our 2nd season. And not one single episode has been the same. As always, we want you to stay connected with us. It doesn't matter how early in the game. We have a fantastic recruitment team. You can reach out to us at the jobs@polk-fl.net. You can reach out to me at my email address. But we are more than happy to kind of walk you through any of those paths that you're trying to take. So that way, when you do get here, you already have family here. We're already here and have built those relationships with you. We can help you get connected with the school as soon as you're ready. So thank you so much for having me.
Teachers have such an impact on so many people. So just know that you're going to be extremely important becoming a teacher.